The Lakers coaching search could be coming to an end very soon, as it looks like one option has risen above the others, and it's everybody's favorite podcaster, not Jeff Teague, but J.J Redick as the Lakers' top choice according to Chris Haynes. However, with that being said, the Lakers are still conducting interviews on other coaching candidates. What's good, y'all, and welcome to another Lakers Digest video. I'm your host, Okechi Apakama, and before we get into everything that we have for you for today's video, guys, I want to bring your attention to something. There is 88% of you guys who have recently watched your videos who are not subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys want more of that Laker news, Laker reactions, trade rumors, and updates on this ongoing coaching search here in this offseason, you guys want to come right here to Lakers Digest so you guys do not miss any of those updates. Now, with that being said, let's hop straight into the topics that we have for you for today, as J.J Redick is looking like the Lakers' top choice. So, J.J Redick is starting to separate himself from the rest of the pack, as the Lakers have been conducting interviews here for the past couple of weeks. And so, according to Chris Haynes, as he said that he would be surprised if anybody other than J.J Redick will end up as head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. And all he's hearing right now is J.J Redick is the guy. And even to go as far as there's been some reports from Chris Haynes saying that J.J Redick has started to find look for some filler of like who could be some of his assistant head coaches or some guys who can join his staff once he becomes head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's how far we've kind of moved in this process, that J.J Redick is starting to look for other candidates right now to join him on his staff. So we'll see where all of this kind of like comes to fruition. Obviously, J.J Redick is probably going to do the NBA Finals, as he is part of the broadcasting team there. So I believe that if there is going to be an announcement to happen, then it would happen after the NBA Finals. And sort of like the Lakers are trying to figure out who's going to be the next guy to lead them into their next frontier, as I think that's why there's been a lot of appeal for a guy like J.J Redick. And I know a lot of people might be thinking, oh, he doesn't have a coaching resume, but he does have a very long basketball resume, which is very impressive. He's played 15 years in the league as a player. He was a 4-year college guy at Duke under Mike Krzyzewski. And then he's also been a guy just in and around all these conversations, not only due to his broadcasting time with ESPN, but then him being an analyst on ESPN as well. And then him on his podcast, not only talking to players, but also coaches through that. So he has gained a lot of respect and all that things that you kind of need to become a head coach that happens behind the scenes. And J.J Redick has really gotten a lot of people in his corner on that side. So it is very interesting to see, like I said, how the Lakers are going to go with this process, because it's probably going to be a little bit more until we get an actual announcement that the Lakers have hired their head coach. One of the big dominoes to fall, last dominoes to fall really, was Tyronn Lue. So the Lakers were still kind of holding out hope, but it was announced today that the Clippers were going to sign Tyronn Lue to a long-term extension. I believe it was 5 years, $70 million. So Tyronn Lue went and got paid. So now it's looking more and more that J.J Redick is the option for the Los Angeles Lakers. And it is very important that the Lakers make the right decision here, because this is kind of like the twilight of LeBron James' career. So there's only so much of good play that you're going to get from him towards the latter stages. So it is important not only to have a coach that is good enough to help you try to win now, but also good enough to help develop and bring in the next cream of guys post LeBron James, and then centered around a guy like Anthony Davis. So we're really interested to see how the Lakers are able to go out with this decision. But they did do some other interviews on some other candidates here. So there's other candidates still in play, as they're still kind of doing their due diligence, as the Lakers should, in finding your next guy to lead your franchise. So they've already interviewed guys like Mike Nori. He was the Timberwolves lead assistant, and then also Dave Adelman, who was the Denver Nuggets lead assistant. They've already interviewed those guys as well, along with J.J Redick. But then also today they brought in for an in-person interview James Borrego. So he has is in Los Angeles, and then he is going to have an in-person interview for the Los Angeles Lakers. So that is a big step, according to Dan Wilkie, who writes for the LA Times. So with James Borrego coming in for another interview, this is interesting to see what the Lakers what can come from this conversation. Not only whether if he could be the head coach, but also possibly if he could be on Redick's staff if things don't work out that way. So we'll kind of see what transpires from that interview here. But the Lakers interviewing James Borrego is just them doing their due diligence, as James Borrego was one of the few coaches that was on their list of interviews that actually had head coaching experience, as he was a guy that was the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets a couple years back and was actually a big reason why that team was one of the best offensive teams in the league and was led by a guy like LaMelo Ball. And obviously the Hornets didn't really do much in terms of standings and winning games because of not only to do with health, but their team not being too good. But they were able to put up really good offensive numbers based on their system. And that's based off James Borrego, the guy who the Lakers brought in. So we'll see if, like I said, what transpires from that interview. But with now Borrego, Michael Nori, Dave Adelman, and J.J Redick, those are sort of like the names that have filled around. Oh, and Sam Cassell as well. He's been another name that the Lakers have interviewed and brought in. So those are some of the other guys kind of in play, but it kind of seems that J.J Redick is the top choice here. And I know some people might be having some shortcomings of J.J Redick, and they might think him of just a podcaster or just a guy probably just doing this just cause. But J.J Redick might be the one guy that I'm for sure that is who I want to bring in for the Los Angeles Lakers, because I know first and foremost that this guy is a basketball sicko, and he'll do whatever it takes to figure out a basketball issue, whether it's something with the lineups or something with the offense. He has been a guy who has been very outspoken on sort of like not only his basketball schemes, but what he thinks is the right thing to do, whether it's like fouling when you're up 3 or doing some little things of that nature. So we've already got some of that from J.J Redick, and then also even from his podcast, you can see what his kind of coaching adamant is. And I'm not really concerned about J.J Redick's ability to whether lead a group or having guys respect him, because that has kind of been his whole career, and that's how a lot of people have really come to liking J.J Redick. I am more interested about the coaching decisions in itself. So what happens when he is coaching and then maybe he's in a bit of a losing streak? Because coaching with the Los Angeles Lakers, a 3-game losing streak is the end of the world. So how does a guy like J.J Redick, how is he able to be acclimated to that? How is he able to adjust on the fly? How quick is he in making decisions, whether it's calling appropriate timeouts or making the appropriate subs? And then you can't really figure that out until you have him on the court doing that. So the timeline here is interesting. Like I said, so it is going to be more likely that J.J Redick, if he is going to be the Lakers coach, it'll be announced after the NBA Finals, after ESPN is essentially done with him calling games. So that's, I think, when the Lakers will be able to plug a J.J Redick in and then have him ready to go for that whole pre-draft process, and helping pick picks for the Los Angeles Lakers and finding the right guys to acclimate him to the team that he wants to have. So I think it's very important the Lakers have match up the type of players that J.J Redick can coach along with the players on the roster, because you don't want too much of what they've been doing the past couple of years, kind of what they did to Frank Vogel towards the end of his tenure, and then Darvin Ham in spurts. The Lakers didn't really have the right guys for that coach. And those two coaches the Lakers had, both Darvin Ham and Frank Vogel, those are guys kind of set in their ways and what they wanted to do basketball-wise. But they didn't have much malleability when it comes to flexible lineups, changing guys, or putting guys in positions to where they can truly succeed. That's another thing that I'm very interested to see if J.J Redick can do that. If J.J Redick can find certain guys on the roster and then place them in spots to be very successful and elevate them, then I think that could bode well for him and his coaching tenure and just how he can be a very good coach in this league if he's able to elevate role players and young players into finding their place in the league. But we won't know that until that actually happens. But let us know what you guys think in the comments down below of who do you think should be the Lakers' next head coach. Is J.J Redick the option that he should be the head coach, or should it be one of the other guys the Lakers had interviewed, like a Sam Cassell, like a Michael Norrie, like a Dave Adelman, like a James Borrego? Should it be one of those guys should be the head coach? Let us know in the comments down below. I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.